Welcome. I am in sunny Devon, and well, it really isn't very sunny. I'm not having an awful lot of luck with the weather at the moment, I've got to say. But there you go. I've just driven about 135 miles, something like that, down to Porlock in North Devon, just off of Exmoor. In fact, actually, at the moment, I'm probably in Exmoor because I've just driven to check out a park up for the night once I've done my photography. And yes, grey. It's not only grey, it's really clouded in. Dear me. Oh, that was refreshing. My hope is that in about half an hour, all of this yucky, nasty cloud is going to blow away. Okay, I decided that the coffee was going to have to wait because if you look at this hill behind me over here, it is already clear of the cloud that was there just 10 minutes ago. In the time it's taken me to get my gear ready, get my boots on and get out of the van, that cloud has lifted. And one of the things I want to do is a bit of minimalist photography, long exposure stuff with these groins before the cloud really breaks up. So this is compositionally quite tricky. I really want to make something of these boulders and the way they're caught between these, what do we call them? Timbers in the groin. And unfortunately the sea is quite a way out. I probably needed to be here much nearer to high tide. And it occurs to me there may be another image to be had over there because of this tree. It's just on the edge of the beach and I wonder whether there's something to be made of that. But I'm going to concentrate on these groins first. Now I have brought two camera systems with me and I'll tell you what, lugging it all over these huge great rocks, that's one of the smaller ones, was harder work than it looks. And so that I get a shot in the bag, I'm going to begin, I think, with my Nikon gear and with the Z7ii and the 24 to 70 lens, 24 to 200 lens. Right. Okay, ISO 64. We're going to have something like f14. I think that's good. And we're going to start off with a 40th of a second. We are a bit underexposed, so I'm going to increase the exposure time up to a 15th of a second. Make sure we're level. Let's get focused. Touch AF. Focus about a third of the way in. 2-second timer. and let's go. And we have a shot in the bag.
Through times long march, I have flown in all your sufferings and life's blind rock. I have remained. I am beside you. I am in you. I am for you. I am the water of life.
So we're going to go for a 2-minute exposure here, and while that's going, I'm going to set up the other system. So please welcome, if you will, back to the fold, the Nikon D300 with the 17 to 55 f2.8 lens. We're going to give this a little bit of an outing. Now I'm going to immediately notice some issues with this, with the D300. And for the most part it's going to be to do with how I control it. I think it's going to take a great picture, that's not a problem, but it's going to be things like how I set an exposure time above 30 seconds, for example. So once you get over 30 seconds on this, it goes to bold, it doesn't want to know. Also focus, quite different. I can touch focus on the screen on this one. I can also touch the screen for the actual shutter release if I want to do that. So that makes all of that a whole heap easier. But anyway, nevertheless, I will keep trying. Once this is done, it's 1-minute exposure. I'm going to swap the cameras over, put the D300 on there and see if I can take the same shot with the D300.
Without me, all is thirst. Through time's long march, I flowed in all your sufferings and life's blind wrath. I have remained.
Hi, this is future Nigel here, and I'm just taking a look at these two pictures of the groin on the beach. One by the D300, that's the image on the left here, and the other by the using the Z7ii. They're quite similar, they're not exactly the same, but I've got to say that I think if I didn't know which of these images was taken by which camera, I would struggle to tell from what I'm seeing on the screen right now as to which was the D300 and which was the Z7ii. They're both good images. There are obviously some differences. There are differences in the quality of light, particularly the light improved by the time I took the image with the D700, so you can see a bit more detail in the cloud up here, and we've got a little bit more colour in the sky, and also we've got these interesting reflections here, or striations if you like, in the colour of the sea. Because of what's happening in the sky, and there's much less of that, it's much less pronounced in the Z7ii image. I did do a little bit of extra sharpening on the timbers here in the groin on both of the images, but I would have to say that looking at the tide line here, it actually looks sharper on the D300 image, and I suspect that's simply a result of exactly where it is that I focused when taking the picture. It may also simply be because the quality of the light had improved and there was more natural contrast, I think, by the time I took the picture with the D300. So whatever way you look at it, I think that in terms of, technically, the image from the D300 is still, at this level of resolution, a perfectly acceptable image compared to the Z7ii one. The other thing I did notice when I was processing it was, and I know people's views on this differ, but with this particular image, I actually found it easier to get back to the natural colours that I felt I was experiencing when I was processing the D300 image compared to the Z7ii. So it's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, back to the video.
Well, I have to say that I thought that picking up the D300 would be like just going home in terms of menu and stuff like that. But it's not. It's really surprisingly different in operation from the Z7 and the Z6. And so I have completely failed to operate bulb mode on it. I'm going to have to look that up. So I had to make do with a 30-second shot there in terms of trying to match the composition from the other one. And the light has changed a lot already just in the half hour or so that I've been here. We've got a lot of blue sky opening up, and so what that means is that I'm going to go over to that tree over there that I spotted earlier, that tree over there roughly, and because I've just been over there to have a look, and I think it's a much more interesting shot. This is really lacking the water. There's no point in me doing a long exposure here. The sea is too far away, and I'm not getting enough of the sky in because I'm trying to look down on this groin. So compositionally, it just doesn't work. It's just really flat. So I'm going to decamp over there, and we're going to capture some of this cloud movement as it comes this way, and the blue sky comes in behind it.
Through time's long march I float in all your sufferings and life's blind wrath.
I think I'm starting to realise just how well designed the ergonomics of the Nikon are, and its usability, its practicality. Just simple things like the flip-up screen, the fact that it's easy to engage, the equivalent of live view, that I can use the timers and bulb. I can go over 30 seconds even. I think I can go up to 900 seconds or something. Quite a lot without actually having to use a special intervalometer. It's got a built-in intervalometer, and the D300 doesn't have one of those. It's got the touch focus. It's got touch shutter release on the screen. All of these sort of things really add up to make the process of taking a photograph so much easier. Now, that said, that doesn't detract from the quality of the images that I think I'm going to get off at the D300. I'm slightly regretting that I don't have a really wide angle lens for it. The widest that I've got is the one that's on it, and that's 17mm, which sounds quite wide, but on a crop sensor that's equivalent to about 24mm. And so some of the shots that I'm taking with my D7 with my 15mm lens, I just can't replicate those with the D300 with the lenses that I have. Doesn't mean it can't do it, of course it can, just need an appropriate lens to go with it. And I've also found this composition down here, which is quite nice. Just getting down low and getting a little bit more foreground interest in with this sort of trickling water here, this little channel, and these smooth rocks. Well, we are only about 10 minutes off sunset, and we are so close but so far from having some epic light. I've come down much nearer towards the shoreline now, as you can see, and I'm just trying to make use of some of these little pools and little rivulets, channels. The nice light is over this way behind me, and so I don't think that's going to happen in time over here.
Without me, all this thirst through times long march, I have flown in all your sufferings and life's blind rod. I have remained. I am beside you. I am in you. I am for you. I am the water of life.
Well, it's getting quite dark now. Might not look it on there, but it is. And I had to hot-foot it back in actually, because the tide was coming in relatively quickly where I was, because it's quite flat out there. So in fact, where I'm stood now is definitely in water. So I had to make a quick exit. I'm probably going to leave this one here now and set up another video for the dawn shoot for tomorrow.
Okay, it's Future Nigel here, and I'm conscious I didn't really finish that video off completely in the field, and so I just want to spend a minute or so just summarising my views about the D300 in particular. I did enjoy using it on this trip. I used it less than I was planning to, because I just found it a bit hectic really trying to juggle too many cameras. But nevertheless, what it did demonstrate to me is that the picture quality that I can get out of the D300 now is just as good as it was when I started using it 16 years ago. It still produces cracking images, and that's in no small measure due to the fact that you can afford at this price range to put some really, really good quality glass on it. So would I swap it for my Z series? No. I'm really chuffed with my Z series stuff. It makes the kind of photography that I do, it doesn't make it easy, but it makes it very practical, particularly in terms of the use of the live screen, focus touching, number of focus points that it has, focus shift shooting, auto bracket shooting. All of that kind of stuff is just superb. But if your budget does not run to that, but you'd like to get set up with a good pro level, and I would say that it is professional level camera, or a camera that can produce professional level images, then the D300 with some good glass can definitely do that. So I hope that's been helpful and interesting for somebody, and if so, please do like, subscribe and all those lovely YouTubey things, and I'll look forward to seeing you again in my next video. Bye for now.